Hi, dear students. I'm really happy to get back to you to this digital platform in this lockdown season. And in this session, we are going to begin a new chapter that is iteration through loop. In class 9, you have already learned about using conditional statements in Java. I hope you are still up to date with your programming skills. Before beginning with iteration through loop, let us just have a recap of that we have learned in the previous academic year. First of all, let us focus upon the various programming constructs in Java. So the programming construct refers to the way in which the various statements in Java are executed. Mainly, there are three different ways in which the Java statements can be executed as part of a program. And first of all, the first way of execution is the sequential execution. Sequential way of execution. In sequential way of execution, all the statements within a program are executed in the same order as they appear. So let us say, so there are 10 statements within a program. All the statements will be executed one by one, line by line, in the same order as they appear. And the second way of executing a programming statement is the selection or selectively executing a program. When we use the selective way of execution, the statements are executed based upon the result of a logical expression. So we will be executing certain statements or skipping certain other statements. So based on the result of a logical expression. As you know, a logical expression always results into true or false. So it is about the selective way of execution that we have learned in the previous chapter. So using if, else, if and the switch statement. I hope you have not forgotten that. Now let us come to the third programming construct in Java, that is iteration. In iterative way of execution, the statements can be executed repeatedly until some specified conditions have been satisfied. As you know, when you create a program, all the statements will be executed only once. And suppose we want a certain statement or a group of statements to be executed for a number of times repeatedly. So in this case, so the iterative way of execution is the possible way. And it is about this iterative way of execution that we are going to focus upon as part of this chapter. That is iteration through loop. Mainly, Java provides three types of loops for creating this iterative statement as part of a program. And they are for loop, while loop, and do while loop. So dear students, if you are a student of class 10, make sure you have a notebook and pen with you right now before proceeding further. First, we are going to focus upon the for loop, how a for loop can be implemented in a Java program to create iterative statements. So, as we have already heard, the for loop is also used for executing a particular statement or a group of statements repeatedly until some specified conditions have been satisfied. First of all, let us look at the syntax of a for loop. So as part of a for loop, this is the proper syntax for a for loop. First, we will begin with this for, so which is also a keyword which you are familiar with. And there are mainly three expressions as part of this for. Expression 1, expression 2, and expression 3. and followed by the body of the loop, or it's also called the loop body. And definitely the loop body is enclosed within a pair of curly braces as a block. Now let us try to understand the syntax of the for loop. As we have already seen, there are mainly three types of expression as part of a for loop. And the first expression is an initialization expression. For every loop, there will be a variable which is called the loop control variable. And this first expression or the initialization expression is used to initialize the loop control variable. And the second expression is the test expression. Of course, this is a logical expression which results into true or false. And it is based upon the result of this test expression, the number of times this loop body will be executed will be determined. And the third expression is an update expression. And the update expression will be used to change the value of this loop control variable, which we have already initialized as part of expression 1. And these details will be clear to you as we see our first example. Alright. And then we have the loop body, and this loop body may consist of a single statement or a group of statements. And this loop body will be executed repeatedly until this expression 2 or this text expression is true. So as long as this text expression is true, the loop body will be executed repeatedly. I hope the syntax of the for loop is clear. So, and if you have proceeded, we will proceed further with our first example with this for loop. As part of this first example, we are going to focus upon just printing from 1 to 5. Okay, so we will create a program to print from 1 to 5. Normally, as you know, we can print from 1 to 5 even using 5 system.out.println statement. So that is not a possible thing in all the circumstances. For a limited number of expressions, it might be possible, but when we wanted to deal with a large volume of data, so definitely the loop is the only possible option for that. Now, in this part of this example, so this is only a program segment, so this is not a complete program, but still you can note down. So this is a program to print from 1 to 5. So you may note down program to print from 1 to 5, and this is only a program segment, not a complete program. This is only for your demonstration purpose. Let's see. First, we will declare the loop control variable. So let us say integer I. So here I is the loop control variable which we are going to use as part of this program segment. Now let us see how it can be created. First of all, as we have seen, expression 1 is an initialization expression, and it is used for initializing the loop control variable. We are going to initialize this loop control variable, and our task is to print from 1 to 5. So definitely we will initialize this loop control variable with 1. And the second expression is a text expression. So, and as long as this text expression is true, the loop body will be executed. Therefore, we are going to create this text expression, and definitely it is a logical expression as well. So the text expression will be I less than or equal to 5. So this is our text expression. Now itself almost something is clear, because our task is to print from 1 to 5, and definitely the initial value of this loop control variable is 1, and definitely this value will go up to 5, I less than or equal to 5. And now there is the update expression, and as you know, the update expression is used to change the value of the loop control variable. And definitely you are familiar with the increment and decrement operators, I suppose. So this is I plus 1. So for those who are not familiar, so this is the increment operator which increases the value of a variable by 1. So these are the 3 expressions that we have created: initialization expression, test expression, and update expression. Now we will go for the loop body. So as part of the loop body, and since our task is only from printing from 1 to 5, we will create the output statement here, system.out.println. We will just display I. The value of this I will be printed as part of this expression, and now we close the loop body. And in this program segment, as part of the loop body, there is only one statement, that is just an output statement to print the value of I. Now we are going to go through a test run of this program segment to see how this program works. Let us begin with the first statement itself. And for a test run, as you know, this is also called a dry run technique. And I hope if your notebook and pen is ready with you, proceed with me further. Let us create a temporary area where we will create the values for this variable. And this is actually when you declare a variable, as you have already learned, what happens inside the computer memory, of course, in the random access memory. So a memory space will be allocated for that particular variable. And definitely, since it is an integer variable, a 4-byte memory space will be allocated for this variable I. And first of all, the first statement is over. Let us proceed one by one, step by step. So the first statement is over, the variable is declared, and definitely the memory is also allocated. And now let us also proceed further. So this is our output screen. So definitely we also need to know what happens in the computer monitor. Now we proceed to the loop itself. For first of all, this first initialization expression is the first statement that will be executed as part of a loop. So the initialization expression I equal to 1. Definitely the value of I will be 1. And remember, this is in the computer memory internally that happens, handled by the compiler. So in the computer memory, the value of I becomes 1. Now we proceed after the initialization expression is executed. And for your information, this initialization expression is executed only once in a loop. After the initialization expression, the control of the program will proceed to the test expression, that is I less than or equal to 5. As we have already heard, as long as this test expression is true, the loop body will be executed. As you know, now the value of I is 1, so therefore definitely this expression is true. So therefore the control of the program will move to the loop body. As part of the loop body, there is only one statement now. So therefore the loop body will be executed. System.out.println I. You know what happens when this statement is executed. Definitely this is println, not a print. So you know the difference already between this print statement and the println statement. So each statement, each output will be printed in separate lines. So definitely now the value of I will be printed, and as you know, the value of I is 1 right now. So the first value will be printed on the monitor. After the execution of the loop body, as you have already seen, there is only one statement as part of this loop body. So only one statement will be printed. If there are more statements, so it will proceed to the next statement after. So after printing the loop body, the control of the program will proceed to the update expression. As you have seen, the update expression is used to change the value of the loop control variable. And now this is I++. Okay, this is an increment operator which increases the value of a variable by 1. Definitely what happens inside, so the value will be increased by 1, the value of I will change to 2. After the update expression, again the control of the program will proceed to the test expression. Now again this test expression will be tested for its result, and now also since the value is 2, 2 is less than or equal to 5. It's a true logical expression. Since it is true, again it will proceed to the loop body and the value of I will be printed again, definitely on the next line, since it is a println statement. Now again, as you know, this is going to be a repetitive way of execution. That is the actual purpose of using this loop as well. So now let us try once again to that definition that we have learned about the iterative statement. So the iterative statements or loops are mainly used for executing a particular statement or a group of statements to be executed repeatedly as long as some specified condition has been satisfied. Definitely, after printing the value of this I again, it will proceed to the update expression. Update expression. As you know, as long as this I plus plus is executed, the value of I will become 3 again. After that, again the test expression will be tested 3 is less than or equal to 5 is the true. So expression, definitely the OD will be printed again. The value of I will be printed, which is presently it is 3. So 3 will be printed again. After printing 3, again it will move to the update expression, whereby the value of I will change to 4. And when it is 4 also, 4 less than or equal to 5, it's the true value. So definitely, again the body of the loop will be executed, and which is I. The value of I will be printed again. And after printing the value of I, again it will move to the update expression. And as part of the update expression, as the update expression is executed, the value of I will change to 5. And even here, this expression will become true. As 5 less than or equal to 5. So now the present value of I is 5. So therefore, even now it is a true statement. And since it is a true statement, again this body of the loop will be executed even now, and the value of I is presently it is 5. So that also will be printed on the output screen. So after this also again it will move to the update expression. And as part of the update expression execution, the value of I will become 6. And now again it will move to the test expression, and see the change here. Now the value of I is 6 and 6 less than or equal to 5. Now it becomes a false expression. Okay, the result of this logical expression is false at present. Therefore, the loop is terminated, and if there is another statement outside the loop, it will proceed to that particular statement. The loop will be terminated. So the loop is executed as long as this test expression is true, and whenever the value of this test expression becomes false, the loop will get terminated. And now see, so this is our program was to print from 1 to 5, and that is how we designed this program segment in such a way so that it will print from 1 to 5 on the output screen. And see what happens internally. See, initially we initialize with 1, and definitely when the loop is terminated, the value of this loop control variable is something that makes this test expression false. So keep remembering this. So this is our proceeding further. So I hope you have already noted down this. So definitely we are going to proceed to our next example. So I hoping that your notebook and pen is ready with you. I request all of you to proceed with your next program. We are going to proceed with our next program. That is, let us take some homework. As part of a homework, please note down. Now you yourself will be in a position to solve certain programs which is simple as well. So first of all, let us have 3 homeworks with you. So we will have it solved here. Your first homework will be to print from 1 to 100. I hope it will be too simple. Instead of printing from 1 to 5, very easily you can print from 1 to 100. Only one change you have to make as part of the test expression. By making a simple change, you will be able to proceed for that one, for printing from 1 to 100. And your second program, okay, will be for printing all the odd numbers between 1 and 100. Let us say all the odd numbers between 1 and 100. And your third homework will be to print all the even numbers between 1 and 100. All right. So there are 3 homeworks. I hope you are noting it down. So your first homework is to print from 1 to 100, and your second homework is to print all the odd numbers between 1 to 100, and your third homework is to print all the even numbers between 1 to 100. If you are not in a position to do this homework also, don't worry, I'm here to get you help. So now let us see, though it is not a complete program, and when you do the homework at your home, make sure it is a complete program with a class, a function, and only as part of a function body, this programming, this looping statement will be used. So definitely I am going to give you some ideas regarding how to proceed further with this looping statement. Your first homework was to print from 1 to 100, so definitely go for it. So first of all, you have to go with the loop control variable. After proceeding with the loop control variable, definitely start the for loop as you have learned earlier. So initialize, our task is to print from 1 to 100, definitely the initialization, as part of the initialization expression, the loop control variable will be initialized to 1. I equal to 1. And now is the important part. As part of the test expression, you have to be careful up to which number you have to proceed. So when you have to print from 1 to 5, definitely you created I less than or equal to 5. So definitely you are already sure what to do now. So now our task is to print from 1 to 100. So definitely I will be less than or equal to 100. As part of this, so definitely this is the test expression, and your update expression will be I plus. And as part of the loop body, we will be creating the printing statement, the output statement, system.out.println, and the value of I will be printed. And don't forget, when you do this homework on your notebook, it should not be just like this. It should be part of a function body, and definitely the function must be part of a class as well. And you are free at your own risk to create your class name as well as to decide your function name according to your choice. Now see, your second homework was to print all the odd numbers between 1 to 100. And only by making some little changes here, so you will be able to accomplish that task as well. So just for printing the odd numbers, definitely the initialization expression will definitely initialize the loop control variable to 1, since 1 is also an odd number. And let us keep this as well. The test expression can be kept exactly as it is, since it is between 1 and 100. And it is in the update expression that we have to make some changes to print all the odd numbers here. And what kind of changes can be made in the update expression? So definitely after printing 1, as you know, the next number is not going to be 2, but it is going to be 3, since we are going to print the odd numbers between 1 and 100. So if you just use an increment operator, the increment operator is mainly used for increasing the value of a variable by 1. Definitely if you use the increment operator, it will not print the odd numbers. It will print only the numbers in a sequence. So therefore, we have to change this update expression. Instead of increasing the value of this loop control variable by 1, we have to increase the value of this loop control variable by 2. Only then we will be able to print the odd numbers between 1 to 100. So therefore, instead of using the increment operator with this loop control variable, we are going to use this special assignment operator, that is plus equal to 2. I plus equal to 2. Definitely, as you know, this is an assignment operator. And for your information, the I plus equal to 2. The meaning of this expression is I equal to I plus 2. So definitely this expression, this update expression will increase the value of a variable by 2 instead of by 1. Definitely. So therefore, after printing 1, then the value of I will become 3, and after that the value of I will become 5, and thereby printing all the odd numbers between 1 and 100. After printing 99, definitely the value of I will go to 101, and thereby making this test expression false, and thereby terminating the loop. And this is how we can do your second homework. I hope you have understood. So definitely, so the second homework can be done in that way. And now we proceed to the third homework. And since you have already learned this technique of using this incrementing by 2, your third homework, that is printing the even numbers between 1 and 100. So only one change is needed to be done, that is by using this initialization expression. So instead of initializing the value of this loop control variable by 1, so definitely if you can use this value of this loop control variable to 2, let us begin with the 2. Definitely now it will print all the even numbers between 1 to 1 and 100. Because first of all 2 will be printed, this expression is false, the 2 will be printed. After that 2 will become 4, and then this 4 will become 6, and 6 becomes 8, and so on. So all the even numbers between 1 and 100 will be printed as part of it. So these 3 homeworks you will be doing right now. Okay. So as long as you observe, as long as this session is concluded, so that you will be doing these 3 homeworks. I hope you have understood the various ideas for completing that homework. Now, so we are going to learn one more technique as part of this session. So there are mainly 3 sessions for this iteration through loop. As part of this chapter, we will be having 3 sessions. And in this first session, your last task is to learn another technique, that is printing some numbers in a reverse order. Now, all the numbers were printed in the forward order. So from 1 to 100. So definitely, now you are going to learn one more technique as part of this first session, that is printing numbers in the reverse order. So definitely, now we are going to see how numbers can be printed from 100 to 1 in the reverse order. So for that also only few changes are required as part of this program. And if you are familiar with the syntax of a for loop and how this for loop proceeds further, so definitely observe certain changes are to be made as part of this. And first of all, the main thing is to use the initialization expression. Earlier, when we wanted to print from 1 to 100, what we did was as part of the initialization expression, we initialized the value of this loop control variable by 1. Instead of that, now our task is to print the values in a reverse order, that is printing from 100 to 1. Therefore, definitely as part of the initialization expression, we will be printing and we will be initializing this loop control variable not with 1 but with 100. Alright. Now, as part of the test expression also, there is going to be a little change here. So when we wanted to proceed further, we were using less than or equal to 100. So instead of using less than or equal to, now our task is the value of this loop control variable must come from 100 to 1. So therefore, definitely the value of a loop control variable must be greater than or equal to 1. See, now it's moving backwards. And instead of using the increment operator, now we are going to use the decrement operator as part of the update expression. As part of the update expression, we are going to use this decrement operator. And as you know, this decrement operator is used to decrease the value of a variable by 1. And definitely the meaning of this decrement operator is I minus minus means, as we have seen earlier, I equal to I minus 1. So decrement operator decreases the value of a variable by 1. So definitely this println statement, it can be same as it is. So the value of I will be printed. First, let us see how it will proceed further. Just using that, let us see the value of 5. And definitely we have our standard output device here. Now the value of I is 100. I hope you are knowing the order in which the various statements within a loop will be executed. First of all, the initialization expression will be executed, that is I equal to 100. After that, it will proceed to the test expression. So I greater than or equal to 1. So definitely, since the value of I is 100, this expression is true. Therefore, it will proceed to the body of the loop, and the value of I will be printed here, which is 100. So after that, as we have already learned, the update expression will be executed, which will decrease the value of a variable by 1. Therefore, the value of this loop control variable becomes 99. And even then, after that, again, it will come to the test expression. Even 99 is greater than or equal to 1. So definitely, again, the body of the loop will be printed and 99 will be printed. And thereby, so all this loop control variable will be decreased by 1 as each update expression is executed, and it will come up to a point where 1 is also printed. When the value of I also will become 1 at a point, and when the value of I is 1, then also this test expression is true, I greater than or equal to 1. Then also that value will be printed here. After that, again, this update expression will be executed and the value of this loop control variable becomes 0. When the value of this loop control variable becomes 0, this test expression becomes false and therefore the loop gets terminated. And definitely, we have our task accomplished, that is printing from 100 to 1 in the reverse order. I hope this reverse printing technique is also clear to you. So these are the various tasks that we are going to learn as part of this first session. So definitely in the second session, we will be learning other techniques as well. So before that, so don't forget about doing this 3 homework plus learning this reverse printing technique with the help of for loops. And as you have already heard, there are also 2 other loops which are provided by Java for the creation of iterative statements, that is while loop and do while loop, about which we will have a detailed discussion later. So keep learning. So first of all, don't forget about doing that homework. That is, once again, I will repeat the 3 homeworks that you are supposed to do as part of the second one. That is, your first homework is to print from 1 to 100, and your second homework is to print all the odd numbers between 1 to 100, and your third homework is to print the even numbers between 1 to 100. We have already learned how to proceed that. And another, your task is before preparing for your next session, make sure you have learned this technique of printing the numbers in a reverse order. And these are the various tasks for you as part of this first session. So hopefully we will meet again in our second session to proceed further. Until then, keep calm, keep safe.